Welcome back to Block TV, where it's time for Pump or Dump, where we'll take a look at the dominant news narratives of the week and see if we agree or disagree with the agenda, whether we pump it or dump it, in favor of another more compelling narrative. And to do so, I am joined by Block TV's crack team of reporters. We have our very own Oran Spitzer, tech maven, Zachy Hennessy, the cultural cretin, the regulation guru, Whitney Deal, and of course, his man with the eye on crime, Yona Hochhauser. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have 2 rounds of topics, limited time to state your case, just 1 minute. So first, we're going to kick it off with Whitney Deal. Whitney, what do we pump? What do we dump?
Everyone has been talking about the Ledger X controversy, that they announced that they were releasing Bitcoin futures, but that was premature as the CFTC did not clear them for it. So they made that announcement and then they had to rescind it and send out, an amendment.
Okay, so that's what was pumped, but should we pump or dump?
We should dump that because everybody should be talking about the New Jersey Blockchain Task Force. So they're kind of copying New York, of course, because who wouldn't? New York's the best. But the task force will explore threats and benefits relating to blockchain and what laws need to be modified for records and digital safe record keeping. So it'll include 14 members from various different government organizations, and they will have 6 months in order to register their study.
All right, well, it seems like there is a lot to be breaking down there for the case of regulation, whether we pump it or dump it. But does our panel agree? Now the time is up. Ding, ding, ding. Let's open it up to all of you guys. Do you agree that we should be pumping the New Jersey Blockchain Task Force?
I will say a big yes from me, because there ain't nothing more exciting than an elite task force of people with computers doing things while sitting down. It's the most exciting thing you could ever imagine.
All right, but,
that is what they're doing, yeah?
But Yona, as talking on the matter of crime, now this isn't exactly criminal, but Ledger X coming out with this statement, it all turns out to be a bunch of controversy. They didn't get the right clarifications, they didn't get the right proofs. Is that legit? Is that even, should we be focusing on that instead?
No, I'll tell you why I do like the task force, because Ledger X is just blowing a bunch of hot air. They're just making a lot of promises, they're making statements that come out to have no concrete fact behind them. They're talking baloney. What I like about the task force is that they gave them a deadline. 6 months, talk or shut up. You're gonna come with regulations, you're gonna come with recommendations. I like seeing, not talking, I like seeing action.
All right, there's a man of action, all right?
Yeah, just kind of, I think what we've learned from all of these hearings going on is that people don't need definitions, and so if this task force, even if they did copy New York, we know they did, but
best practice is best practice,
I am regulating here.
All right, that's it for that. Now we move on to a cultural note where we'll take our very own Zachy Hennessy to talk about what was pumped and what was dumped. Zachy, what have you got for us?
Let me tell you. Litecoin halving day, August 5th, my birthday. Happy birthday to me, by the way, last week. And it went off without a hitch. Everybody's talking about it. Woo, Litecoin halving day. What a big to-do. Really a trite narrative, if you ask me. Not so exciting. The cryptocurrencies, they go through halvings. It happens. It's nothing to fucking roll out a red carpet.
This is a statistical fact. It's going to happen. It's built into the system. We all know it's coming.
What should we pump in favor of, in lieu of this dump? I'll tell you. August 14th, National, this one's mine, National Creamsicle Day.
National Creamsicle
August 14th,
Day.
Mark your freaking calendars, because this guy is going to be eating a creamsicle and delivering the news at the same time. We need to be starting to celebrate these smaller national days.
Wait, in 10 seconds, what is a creamsicle? Explain.
A creamsicle, it's like if you make a popsicle but with cream, and usually it's with orange flavor imbued in it as well.
All right,
that was 7 seconds.
Yeah, that was the 7 seconds. That was even more succinct than I needed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I open this up to the panel. National Creamsicle Day? Anyone?
I do love creamsicles. I think he's biased because, like he mentioned, most of the creamsicles are orange flavored, and he pretty much, that describes him. He is a cream-filled, orange flavored man who delivers the news. So he's Creamsicle Day every single day.
What can I say?
But should we have been talking about Creamsicle Day?
Thank you, Oran. I want to say
and not the Litecoin halving?
What do you mean?
Well, Litecoin halving, I think actually Litecoin sits below its price of pre-halving. People were saying halving by now is going to strip it in value. I think Litecoin, if I stand correctly, is at $86 right now.
But again, all of those things that you're saying I think are valued higher within the crypto sphere than Creamsicle Day. Love you, Zachy. Valid point.
But let's all be fair now. Of course, we all celebrate Pizza Day, the day of that pizza, the first pizza transaction, the trade for Bitcoin. Surely food has a place, Whitney, in the blockchain environment, the crypto environment.
I mean, but food just has a place in my heart. Regardless, I mean, I can't say no. Like the Litecoin halving, I can't eat it. It's not going to keep me warm at night, or you know, make me happy.
I don't know if creamsicles will keep you warm at night.
Keep you cold on a summer day.
When I get fat, you know, like I'll have extra layers. But you know,
I think Zach's making
all right, we're cutting you off there. The buzzer has sounded. We now move on, go from culture to a quick and neat segue over to crime. Our man with his eye on crime, Yona Hochhauser. What have you got for us?
Well, I'll tell you, definitely last week the major talk was the Binance KYC data leaks, which was simply old news. It was people, you know, kind of like what Binance said. I hate to kind of sound like a Binance puppet, but for once I actually agree with CZ here. It was just people, you know, jumping on the FUD, trying to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and saying, hey, look, this is old leaks, trying to get people's information. It was this hacker who was dealing with CoinDesk.
Dredging the old waters.
Exactly. You know, I wasn't for it. What I like seeing is, you know, the good news. Is try to put some positivity into the field of cryptocurrency, and that's CoinDesk. CoinDesk on August 8th, they released a blog post highlighting a successful defense against a potential attack against the the Coinbase exchange. Pretty much malicious actors sent a bunch of emails to Coinbase employees. The Coinbase security was able to identify this as an attack within time. They were able to stop the attack. They told Firefox, who was involved in the vulnerability, about it. And they told, most importantly, us. I like when exchanges are transparent. This attack happened. We stopped it. It's all good. That's what I like to see from exchanges.
Succinctly wrapped up nicely on the buzzer. All right, I open this up to the field. Should we be flagging the good news? You know, are we just feeding the bears here by dredging up this old business, or is it worth addressing the flaws so we can learn from our mistakes? Oran, what do you think? I see some thoughts brewing in there, something marinating.
I mean, it's always, first of all, you should always know about the flaws. I think Binance is very communicative in general, and what you were saying, but it's like Coinbase. They've kind of like learned from their past here. Yes, we should talk about the good things, but I think it's also case specific. Binance had a whole #delete Coinbase movement. You know what I mean? So they have to be communicative now, and it does have to look like they're doing a good job, because they're taking kind of their notes now from Binance, I think, at this point, because CZ does do a great job.
He does do a great job with communication. He's perhaps opened up the field, but I got to wonder, I suppose, Zachy, and I'll address this one to you. We've all had that situation where we've almost stepped in front of the car. We've almost, you know, tripped into the wrong cavern. I'm sure you've had that more than most here in this room.
Many times.
But you don't really tell that story that often. The time I stepped in front of the truck, but I didn't get hit. It's the time you did get hit, your bones got shattered. That's what you talk about.
You gotta tell the interesting stories, all right? And this hack, even though it happened a bajillion years ago, that's the scientific number, by the way, it's still interesting, and there's still developments happening. And if there's a development happening, an interesting story, then it's worth talking about. Because, you know, then we can keep an eye on the sphere and say, you know, this is the kind of development that's able to occur in this kind of space, and we can kind of be more aware of further possibilities in the future.
Certainly, that is a possibility. And speaking of the future, quickly to you, Whitney, talking. The buzzer sounded. I know Whitney had the best things to say on that, but we'll get her for the next one. So then, of course, now we turn, last but certainly far from least, to our tech maven, Oran Spitzer. What do you got for us?
Maven, thank you very much. So Walmart tokenizing is what everybody's talking about all the time. Newsflash, Walmart's been tokenizing for like a year at this point. We've heard about Walmart's blockchain adventures for the longest of times, and it's kind of irrelevant at this point. What we should be talking about is IBM's blockchain work. So a new patent, this is coming out now. So a new patent application form filed by IBM kind of describes a blockchain-based web browser that collects pre-specified information from web browsing sessions. It's important to note here that like in just a year, the number of IBM blockchain patents has grown by 300%. That is not a small number. They're really all in with their blockchain, and they're actively doing things from it. We have a little clip from Jesse Lund, the head of IBM's blockchain project, kind of talking about why it's important, and I think that'll make my case here. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
The gravitational pull of blockchain and the media coverage that it's received, which I think is warranted because of the transformational potential that it offers, makes it hard for for businesses in all industries to ignore.
All right, well, there we have it. Time is up. What do you guys think?
I think that anything related to IBM's blockchain project is worth talking about because they are doing really good work in the space with their food trust projects and all
Trust
of
your
the
supplier now.
So much going on.
But they're like doing things. They're not talking.
That's
I think
right.
a big thing in the space is talking like a potential project, discussing possibly doing something in the future, and everybody gets all hyped about it. But IBM is actually doing stuff.
it, and it's worthwhile to follow because it's like really important work that they're doing, I think. So
But I gotta ask, I'm going to direct this one to Whitney from a regulatory perspective. Should we be talking about filing patents? I mean, is that really a hot button news item we should all be talking about and bringing up?
I mean,
Is that what's getting you excited in the morning?
no, it doesn't get me excited in the morning.
It's not about the
I don't live for
patents.
patents, but I think that they have to take the proper, they have to make the proper protocols and go through the proper channels in order to protect their ideas. And I don't know. I just don't like Walmart, so
But it
It is Walmart. I mean, Walmart is significant.
I-
They're not just some company. They're Walmart. They're the biggest retailer in the United States.
I'll
It's
tell you
massive.
the issue. One, I don't like that Jesse Lund of IBM gets to stay over the buzzer. He saw the buzzer sounded. He got to continue.
All right,
talking.
we're calling a technical foul.
That
right
I don't
here.
like. Secondly, when it comes to getting cheap, low prices every day, I trust Walmart. When it comes to cutting edge technology and doing things well in the tech side, I trust IBM. Walmart, stick to the food. IBM, go on the blockchain.
Amen.
Jonas
brother.
smelling a
Agreed.
winner and he's getting a little frightened.
But do
calling
we?
out the
I
buzzer man.
gotta say, do we want blockchain-based web browsers? I'm a little worried about keeping that data, but that's for another point to discuss because we're now on to round 2, ladies and gentlemen. Round dos. We're gonna bring this going along. So coming back, of course, to Whitney. What are you pumping? What are you dumping?
All right, so everybody's talking about the fake IRS letters. I'm gonna dump those because, look, I mean, the IRS sent out 10,000 letters to crypto holders over the past couple of weeks to say like, hey, we know that you have crypto holdings and it's time to, pay up and report your holdings. But then, of course, scammers took advantage of that. Listen, be smart, read it, do your homework, make sure that you're not falling into that scheme. Anyway. I think that everybody should be talking about the Utah blockchain voting. And other states as well have gone in to do blockchain voting because it allows active duty military members and people that are on vacation to vote while they're overseas. It just makes everything so much easier. So you can do your civic duty from no matter where you are in the world. And I think that's super important.
Okay, it seems to be a critical one. Succinct, clear. You got in there even well before the buzzer because
I try my best.
when a good point is to be made, a good point is to be made. So we'll cut it there and open it up to general conversation. What do you guys think? Do you think that the voting is more critical? Yona, hand raised.
Yeah, he's ready to talk.
This is for voting.
You there in the back.
Yeah, so I think a big problem is for facing the blockchain, honestly, is people trying to shoehorn the term blockchain and the technology blockchain into places it doesn't need to be. And one of the places where it truly actually is the superior product is and actually the best solution is voting.
Right.
Blockchain and voting, that is its number one. That could be the best use case for it. Supply chain, it's great. There's a lot of other places where it's great, but I think voting is where the blockchain really could shine in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
making
they
a
had
strong
a-
case there, but certainly, I mean, fake IRS letters, Zachy, that's causing headaches, that's causing FUD, that's freaking people out. Surely we should be discussing that as well.
Listen, you get a couple of things in your mail. One day you get a package filled with powder. You're like, I don't know what this is, okay? You talk about it for a day or two, right? The next day you get a big box in the mail. Oh, what's that? It's ticking. Throw that out. I didn't order it. Eventually, fake mail, it gets boring. It's not worth talking about forever. Fake IRS, oh, it's another scam. Let's just talk about it just because they did a fancy way of... What you're doing by focusing on this kind of thing is you're incentivizing more fun and creative terror attacks, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool, but do I want to live in the kind of world where people are coming up with amazing, cool terror attacks that are, each one more creative and interesting than the last? Kind of. Do I want to live in a world where we're focusing on actual practical use cases for blockchain technology? also. So I don't know what
You took that to an interesting place, Zaki, but I want Aran to round it out, bring a little sense back into the room. What are your thoughts? Which would you rather focus on?
No, absolutely focusing on the voting. This was a thing that was done in West Virginia less than a year ago. It was a
Couple months
successful
ago, actually,
pilot. Yeah, it was a successful pilot. It brought up topics like digital identity that need to happen and other things. This is like, currently they're allowing this for people abroad, or soldiers abroad more specifically, which is great. But if it could be open to everybody in general, just people that have to hand in absentee ballots, that would be very helpful for me personally.
Handing in absentee ballots is a pain in the ass. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Like you almost don't want to vote because you're like,
right. But then you feel like an asshole that you're not voting. So it's a whole issue.
Gotta go to the
To
post
incentivize
office.
a bit more voting. Let's see what we can do. All right. Now, I know Zaki is going to bring up the bar right now, the standard of conversation, raise it to the next level with his next topic. Zaki, what have you got for us?
All right. Here's the thing. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin and its relationship with the altcoins. Oh, Bitcoin, when it goes up, the altcoins go up. When it goes down, the altcoins go down. We get it. It's been this way forever. All right? Just bringing up the same old thing, saying, hey, Bitcoin went down, everything else went down. Wow, how amazing.
It dominates the sphere. I mean, that's
dominates the sphere. It doesn't need to anymore. We understand, okay? Dump. What I think we should pump instead is Bitcoin's dominance over other things. Like, Bitcoin is dominating my dad right now. If you look on Google Trends, we got the chart right here. If you look on Google Trends, you've got, Bitcoin way over, far and away above my dad. I've talked about this kind of thing before, but we need to be keeping our eye on interesting trends that aren't just, that age-old correlation that we've been talking about. Let's talk about some other stuff, like Bitcoin and my dad.
Okay, I mean, what are your views on Bitcoin and my dad while we're talking about it?
My
quickly,
dad
in
is
5 seconds.
useless compared to Bitcoin. Terrible.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my dad, it does not beat Bitcoin. It is being dominated by Bitcoin.
That's right.
Yona, what are your thoughts
Is your
on my
dad not transparent? Is he?
He's very opaque.
Is he mutable?
He is not mutable.
Oh, is he fungible?
He's not mutable.
Is he fungible?
Mutable?
He actually had a bad case of athlete's foot, but he got that taken care of.
Yeah. All right. How
You got that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That
That fungus, athlete's foot. We got it. For viewers at home who didn't get
I'll
it.
tell you this much: dogs, way above both of them.
Okay.
They got
Yes.
my dad. You got Bitcoin. You got dogs. Like, it's crazy.
And I remember
We're
Jesus was in the
dumping
mix
his-
for a while.
Jesus was
How
in the
about
mix.
Dogecoin?
We're dumping what he tried to pump, and now we're going with dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stick with the dogs.
Okay.
I agree.
Whitney, you'd
dogs.
agree?
Forget
You'd
that.
do it
Yeah,
from,
of course.
You'd rank it up
Dogs.
from my
All
dad to
the time.
Bitcoin to dogs?
Statue.
yeah. Other than, are you okay? Do we need to?
Okay,
we need to
all
talk
right. I
about
think the
something?
buzzer and everyone agrees that we need to move on from that one.
Absolutely.
And take it to what our crime correspondent has for us. Yona, what else do you think needs pumping and what needs dumping?
So there's been a lot of buzz, or even a mention about crypto entrepreneur Jeremy Gardner has been trying to pitch a crypto reality TV show based off his crypto mansion. And I'll tell you, instead we should be talking about literally anything else in the world. Literally. Have you seen the trailer? I watched the trailer. This guy's trying to start fake drama. Come on, listen. People, if we want to be taken seriously as a technology, as a field, as a real use case, as a way of using business, this is not helping. Real people see this. Businesses who are considering using blockchain and crypto, they see this type of antics, and it doesn't look serious. It looks like fake drama. Come on, stop spending your time and wasting your energy trying to get out a reality TV show. Instead, go out there and try to push adoption. Go out there and explain to a grandma how to use Bitcoin. #BubbyCoin.
All right, well, hold on. Well, let's take a look at some of the trailer. I believe we got some of the footage here we can take a gander at and see what this thing really looks like.
Just another day in the castle, the crypto castle.
Wait, what happens when a guy's made it, leaves Silicon Valley, and lands here in Miami? Frankly, all hell breaks loose.
It's supposed to be your opportunity to build a real business.
I want in. He won. And you have to respect him for that.
Meet Jeremy Gardner, aka Gonzo Gardner.
I am Gonzo Gardner. Owning it shamelessly, that's my philosophy.
He's big in blockchain tech and them cryptocurrencies. The chap's made headlines, a bit notorious, like me, a bit of a legend.
All right, Jeremy's a legend.
Self-made millionaire by 24.
This is a democratizing technology.
Started the blockchain education network in college. Co-founder of Augur. Started the crypto castle in San Fran.
Think of it as a dorm room meets think tank.
Now Miami. Part co-working place, part party pad.
All right, well, Yona, that was something. That was a real something right there. I'm really glad you showed us that. I'm really glad you brought that into our lives.
I'm actually really upset they showed that trailer. I did not want the trailer to be shown. I didn't want the guy to get the attention. Do not give him attention.
Is that attention positive? I mean, Whitney, please, just hold that face right there. Freeze frame that.
I want
and now back up the emotion.
I want those couple of minutes of my life back. Yeah. That was such a fucking waste.
That was very bad.
I mean, look, as a cultural person, Zachy, as a deeply cultured individual, I gotta ask: is there a Bitcoin culture? Like, is it its own like beast that needs to be turned into a reality TV show, much like crab fishermen and
ice road
truckers have before them?
Now I'll tell you this. As a cultured man, I can say Socrates once said, "A Bitcoin reality show there should be not."
Yeah.
And that's so true in this case. Like it's almost like he was speaking directly about this because holy shit, it's bad.
As long as Socrates once said it.
I would rather watch the Kardashians than this.
I'm fine with there being a Bitcoin culture. I don't think this guy should be the one representing it.
I've never heard of this guy before in my life.
What are you guys talking about? We all really fundamentally disagree about this, but we also disagree about Bitcoin and Friends, the really crude, you know, the show I'm talking about, the Rick and Morty style. But this is, people would... There's shit TV on all the time. This is really good for the sphere.
Let's admit something. You said during that ad playing, you would watch it. Okay.
I would watch it.
It's on the table.
It's crap reality television. People watch, like, Jersey Shore is a thing that existed in
But Jersey Shore was entertaining.
Girl,
Pauly
this is
D
the same thing.
was entertaining.
This is the same shit. It is. It's 100% the same thing.
This is terrible, and I don't know what producer, what production company was like, let's greenlight this.
I think he greenlighted himself.
They for sure produced this whole thing themselves. They got their own camera crew. Yeah. Nobody funded this.
It makes my bones feel weird. Like, that's how uncomfortable that whole thing is.
It's
how uncomfortable it made to me.
We got bones feeling weird. We got people being uncomfortable. I'm glad the bells are ringing because we gotta. All right, Aran, please take us out on a note that's a little more highbrow.
Sorry that was so difficult for you to watch, but anyway.
You get a special minute and a half of this.
Right, because we have some videos.
Exactly.
So basically, last week everybody was talking about the pomp, having too much Bitcoin. Kevin O'Leary ripped into him. This is somebody from Shark Tank, you know, the show where people invest in things. That most of his portfolio was in Bitcoin. Let's take a look at that.
Right? It's not personal opinion. It's not somebody else's opinion. The math suggests that it is non-correlated to negatively correlated to major asset classes.
How much of your own dough is in it?
Yeah, over 50% of my net worth is in Bitcoin, and I don't plan to sell it.
I forbid that. That's insane.
You forbid that?
That breaches everything about diversification and investing. That's crazy.
How much of your net worth is in the stock market?
In any one stock, never more than 5%. In any one sector, never more than 20%. I teach this stuff. You never go beyond concentrations of that nature. 50%? Shame on you. That's nuts.
And what?
So that was last week's news. Everybody talked about it. Great. Now, Mark Cuban, also Shark Tank veteran, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, very rich guy, basically, has said that he hates gold as an investment, and he used Bitcoin as fundamentally being the same exact thing. He did note that he's kind of okay with some things, like that there's a finite supply and all that stuff. But let's take a look at that.
I hate gold. Gold is a religion. There's some fundamental value to gold, but everything else, it's a collectible. I see gold and Bitcoin as being the same thing.
Well, hate is a strong word.
Okay.
So the miners too, all of gold, the whole gold spectrum.
Individually, as people, I've heard they're great people. But as an investment, okay, you're right. Hate is not strong enough. Hate with extreme prejudice as an investment.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Bitcoin and gold on the same level for you.
They're both collectibles.
Okay.
The value is based off of supply and demand. And the good news about Bitcoin is there's a finite supply that'll ever be created. And the bad news about gold is they'll keep on mining more.
So the whole point here is that these really, really rich humans, like Mark Cuban is not an idiot at the end of the day. And if he's saying that there's something iffy about it, I think the cryptosphere as a whole has to kind of come together to bring these people.
All right, the wealthy talking about crypto. And before you say anything, Yona, points deducted from Aran for going overtime, getting a minute and a half and still managing to go overtime.
I'm so sorry.
I have no problem with her going overtime. I have a problem with Mark Cuban not being buzzed.
Holding up the show.
Let's say
but regardless, do we all agree? I mean, look, about Mark Cuban there, I mean, he's mentioning Bitcoin. Nice when a celeb, a wealthy guy mentions Bitcoin, but not exactly mentioning it in the most positive light there. Is that what we should be focusing on instead of the pomp, an actor in the sphere talking about it? Yona?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm an Adam Smith, the free market type of guy. So when he says the only value it has is because of supply and demand, that's exactly the value that I'm looking for. I'm looking for non-artificial, market-driven value, and that's supply and demand for you. So thank you, Mark Cuban, for proving Bitcoin's value.
I think that the more, I mean, listen, the more hoity-toity big old white men we have talking about it, like, yeah, naturally the more it's going to get adopted. Is that a good thing? I don't know, because like we got this, we got our wunderkind, Mr. Pomp. He's a nice fella. We got Mr. Antonopoulos. We got lots of folks who are talking
about. We should be keeping it in house, like not
keep it in house.
Don't.
There's no need to export it, because the more we export it, the more it gets associated with the people who are different than what Bitcoin is.
But those people have the money, which brings me to you, Whitney. You look like you got something to say.
We're not going to really know the answer to this until we get O'Leary and Cuban in like a celebrity death match, and then whoever wins,
hell yeah, brother,
we should agree with.
Yeah,
they kind of
fight to. I mean, they kind of agree with each other.
They ultimately agreed with each other,
but I mean, O'Leary
still,
was
celebrity
like, you
death
shouldn't
matches.
have so much of your, you know what I mean? So,
and Mark Cuban was just dead.
All right, guys, that's it. That's wrapping it up. That's all we have time for. What we pumped, what we dumped. I'd like to thank the team, Aran, Zaki, Whitney, and Yona for breaking it all down for us. Pump or dump, what do you guys think? Let us know. We want to hear, did we pump the right things? Did we dump the right things? Come reach out to us. We want to hear from you guys. And of course, stay with us at blocktv.com for all the latest news and information. I'm Ashley Westrop Evans.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.